Hello, everyone. Today is another Sunday. It's a slow day here in the indoor employee parking lot. It's just as empty as the outdoor one. But I'm not going to talk too long today. It's past my lunch. I'm just on a 15-minute break, but I wanted to do something because I didn't upload for the last couple of days. What I did want to talk about is, rather than talk about, it's more just advice. If you call customer care for a family member, customer service, customer care, whatever you want to call it, tech support. But if you're calling about an account with a company, for example, let's say you're checking on a phone bill, or you're checking on a bank statement, or even Medicare Part D, which is the field I work in. When you call, if you're a guy and you're calling in for your dad, if you're a female and you're calling in for your mom, just tell the representative that you are your dad or you are your mom. If you're calling in for your aunt, say you're your aunt. If you're calling in for your uncle, say you're your uncle. Grandpa, it doesn't matter. Just say you're the person that you're calling for, because I can guarantee you it's going to be easier to get done what you're calling to get done. A lot of times if you say you're the other person, there's a limited things that a customer service representative is actually allowed to do with you. Spider. But at least in my line of business, we start to ask if people are aware you're calling, and then only then we can only deal with filling prescriptions or filling medications, things like that. But if you're calling to her and to get a list of prescriptions and you tell us you're not the person, unless you have a POA on file with us, we can't tell you anything. So that's just how it is. That's how the law's set up and whatnot. What we can't do, however, is if you call us and you say you're the person you're calling for, you say you're your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, whatever the case may be, it's not our job to call you a liar. It's not our job to decide if that was a lie or not. If you're able to answer all the questions that we ask to verify you are who you say you are, then that's all we have to do. And that makes it easier for you, because if you say you're this person, you've already proven that you're this person because you've answered all the questions correctly, which 9 times out of 10, the information that if you're calling for your mom or your dad, you already either have that information in front of you or you already know that information. So, you tell us you're them, you verify everything. We've already done our job on making sure you are who you say you are. Now, depending on the customer service representative, actually it doesn't really matter, but if let's say you're a guy and you're calling for your mom, or vice versa, you're a girl and you're calling for your dad, or a female and you're calling for your dad, it doesn't matter. You can still get away with saying you're who you say you are, depending on the customer service representative, because I'm not lying, completely serious. I've had guys who call in about their own account, but their voice is so feminine I could not tell that they were a guy at the beginning of the phone call. It wasn't until I started listening to, it wasn't until they said they were who they were calling about. In this case, it was someone I thought I believed to be a woman, but was actually a guy. And he had a really feminine voice. It wasn't deep or anything. It wasn't until he called, or until after I verified the account and he said he was the person he was calling about, that I started listening to how he talked. And I found that he, based off of his mannerisms, the way he talked and the way he went about things, I was convinced that he was definitely a guy. I don't believe it was a girl trying to claim to be her father or her uncle, or whatever that case may be. But that's just how I felt about it. And again, different customer service representatives will handle it differently. They have their own little things that they'll do. But at least to me, that's how it works. So yeah, if you want to have an easier time helping out your relatives with, issues that they're having you call in about, it's always best to say that you're the person that owns the account, you're the person that you're calling about. That'll just make the customer service easier. And us as representatives, it makes it easier for us because we want to tell you the information. We know the reason why you called and we want to give you that information, because the faster we give you that information, the faster we can get you off the phones. No offense to our members or customers or whatever. It does no offense to you. It's just we know you don't want to be on the phone all day with us. We personally don't really want to be on the phone to begin with, but that's our job and we're doing our job. So yeah, just if you want an easier time with customer service, say you're the person you're calling about, and then you should have an easier time than if you didn't. But I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. Have a look. This is the Tennessee Titans practice field. It's a little air bubble. I'm not sure how it's supported, but one day when they have it open to the public, I might go check it out. I've been here almost 2 years and I have not checked it out once. I mean, to be fair, I've been moved to working at home, so I have a home office now, and I've had a home office for about a year now, so I had a whole year to check it out, and now I just come to the office intermittently throughout the year. But I've been at the office this past week, and I'll be in the office for the rest of this week. I don't have to come back in after starting Thursday. I can just stay at home, so I don't have to come into work. Which means, of course, more sleep for me because I live like an hour away from here. Depending on traffic, it could be even longer. The other day it took me 3 hours or 2.5 hours to get home because there was an accident. The accident itself wasn't really bad. It's just somebody rear-ended somebody else, and the highway was backed up for about 10 miles. And when you're driving in traffic and you go so far, you start thinking to yourself, it can't be that much longer now. But on that particular day it was. I passed 2 exits hoping that it was just right around the corner, and it wasn't, so I ended up taking that long to get home. On low gas, I might add, and the exits here are like anywhere between 4 to up to 10, 15 miles apart here in Tennessee, which kind of sucks because it's like I live in Clarksville. Clarksville is at exit 11. The exit from Nashville going to Clarksville, the last exit before exit 11 is exit 19. That's 8 miles away. So exit 19 is the one where you would want to get off if you're stuck in traffic, get gas so you can get back on. But me, I was convinced that it couldn't be that much longer, so I stayed and I paid for it. I mean, I didn't run out of gas or anything, but a drive that would normally take me 45 minutes to an hour took me 2.5 hours. It was stupid, and I hate sitting still for that long. Even at my desk, I work at the call center. I'm standing up, I'm moving around. I can't sit still. It's not in me to sit still, which is why I'm looking for a new job. I'm looking to get out of this customer service call center type of deal. And I'm also looking to get out of this state. I am not a fan of Tennessee. I mean, I like the Tennessee Titans football team. They're my favorite football team, but I stopped watching football because they really suck. But Tennessee itself as a state, can't stand it. There's nothing to do here. When you're someone I grew up here for a while. I grew up here from 3rd grade up until 9th grade when I started high school. But before I came here, I was an island boy. I grew up in Guam. I was born and raised in Guam, grew up there. Then came here. That's when I discovered I don't like cold weather. I don't like snow. Keep it away from me. And then in 9th grade, I decided I wanted to go live with my dad. My mom and dad split up when I was really young, so my dad was in the military. He was always moving around, so I stayed with my mom. But my dad went into the reserves when I was in high school, and I opted to go move out with him. And at the time, he lived in Long Beach. And as I moved into Long Beach, he went back into active duty and was moved up to Monterey. And that's where I grew up in high school, was in Monterey for 2 years, 3 years, something like that. And Monterey County is really cool. It's where I've always been into cars, but that was the first place where me being into cars actually got me somewhere. Made a lot of friends with who were into cars. They used to hold street races in Salinas. You'll never know when, you'll never know where, but you can try to find it by just looking for, it's usually some kind of supermarket. Everyone will meet up there, and you will know it's there because it's all these modified cars, these show cars that are all lined up. It's like a mini car show every weekend, and some of the people at the car shows will get together and start planning where they want to race. Now, the street racing, they don't go out to some highway and race. They don't go out to some street in a neighborhood and race. They'll go out to Salinas in the middle of all these farm fields where there's straight roads and nothing for miles. So it wasn't, the kind of things you'll see like on 1320 where they're racing in the streets of Texas or on the highways or things like that. But in Salinas, we would go find an empty road near a farm, middle of nowhere, and we do our races there. But another reason why you wouldn't want to do it out in the open in California is, I believe California has a law that if you're caught street racing, they take your car away. And I don't think it's just impounding. They actually take it away, you lose your car. You'd have to buy it back from the state for whatever the car's value is or whatever. I'm not 100% sure, that was a while ago. But after 10th grade, I left. My dad retired from the military, and he was moving up to San Francisco with my little sister and stepmom. But my aunt, he sent me to live down in Arizona with my aunt, and Arizona is where I really found my own. Arizona was a great place to live. It never gets cold. Well, almost never gets cold. You never need more than a hoodie there. And you'll put on the hoodie in the morning when it's cold, and come noon, come lunchtime, the hoodie gets put in the back of your car. You have no idea how many jackets piled up in the back of my car. I used to go through my house looking for my jacket just to realize they were all inside my car already. But that's where I got into a lot of different stuff. I started exploring around. I started going out more, made a lot of friends, and Arizona became the place that I feel is home. And that's where I always believe I feel home will be. But more on that later. I have to get back into work. My break is probably past due right now. I'm probably like a couple minutes past my break. So until next time, I'll talk to you later.